Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So we have gotten our Fang Club doll for 2026 from Monster High, Scarah Screams, and I have so many thoughts on this doll. So obviously I have to sit down and make a video to give you all of those thoughts. Now, I was intending to make this video early. I said that I was going to be doing Monday and Friday videos for at least January to just give myself a little bit of a lighter workload because I usually do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I'm like, okay, for January at least, we'll take like a teensy light little break. We'll do Monday and Friday. But this doll did release when this video is going to end up coming out like the same day, January 9th. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do like a Monday and Thursday. Maybe I'll move it up a day or even 2 days, Monday and Wednesday. I had intended to get this video out sooner than it is coming out because I thought it would be nice to have the video out before the doll came out. But because of certain circumstances, that did not end up happening. So now this video is going to be like a little longer than I thought it was going to be because we're going to have the original concept for the video, which was just talking about the doll and her design and like purely the aesthetics of it all. And now I also want to have a second section at the end where we talk about her release. I do not think it isn't like entirely bad. I'm not like fully condemning the release, but I do think it was handled in sort of an interesting fashion. And so now I want to talk about that too. So that's what we're going to do. Two parts. First part is like aesthetics and my thoughts on the doll herself. Second part is going to be my thoughts on the release and everything. So now I get to film and edit and upload all the same day, which is not something I typically do, but it is what it is. We got to get the video out. We got to talk about it because I've been sitting on this a couple days and I can't wait anymore. You know, like you could argue that, oh, you could give it a day. You could like let yourself rest and put it on Saturday. No, I have to get this out. So before we go and dig into everything, these are just going to be my opinions. It's fine if you disagree. Just please be polite about it if you'd like to express that in the comments down below. And if you feel like you're getting entertainment or anything else out of this video, if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hype, that is super, super helpful to the channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start taking a look at Scarah because I love this doll. Okay, so here is Scarah's full look. We are obviously going to be looking at some more like close-up shots of some of the details so that we can really take everything in, but we're going to get started with just the overall effect of her, and it is stunning. I think the best way that I can sum up my thoughts on this doll, like if you don't feel like watching any of the rest of this video, this is like the summation, the important part, I guess you might say. When I first saw this doll on Instagram, I don't know if other people scroll this way or if I'm just like in the minority, but I just look at the pictures. I don't necessarily see the account that posted a picture right off the bat, right? So I'm just like scrolling through my feed and I saw this and I dead ass almost was just like, oh, that's cool, and scrolled past because I thought it was a custom. I genuinely saw this and I was like, that's incredible. I love that. But it's like a one of a kind doll. So just like and scroll. I did not think, oh, this is an actual official doll that we could get. And then I don't know if I saw like some of the comments or if I finally saw the account being Monster High. And I was like, oh shit, this thing's official? This is real. That's how flabbergasted I am. That's how blown away I was by her design. So I feel like that is a good way to just like frame this video. I thought this was a custom one of a kind doll because I think that she just looks so unbelievably cool. Like the overall effect is just so it's so fun. I don't think anybody predicted that Scarah Screams was going to be the Fang Vote doll for this year, but my god, have they taken her and they've done something absolutely wonderful with her. So let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. First, we have her face here. We've got these thick bangs that I really do like. The original Scarah back in G1 of Monster High, the couple of dolls that she got, because I believe was she one of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives at first? I can't quite remember. I sometimes get her and Iris like mixed up in my head. I don't know why they look very different. But she only got like a couple of releases in the initial like run of Generation 1 of Monster High. And when she had those releases, her general style was sort of like mod, like 60s look. So I feel like these bangs, they're so good. They're definitely not like modern, like 2026 bangs. And I really love that for her. I think it makes her stand out. I think it's more interesting. I don't know. I am a little nervous about how the bangs, like the super thick bangs, are going to look on the actual like inbox doll when people start getting them. Because, you know, bangs I feel like can be kind of hit or miss on dolls anyway. And if they're like extra thick, I feel like some of them could look kind of clunky, but fingers crossed, they look excellent because they they really look good to me in this photo. I think it's really, really fun. Her face here, she does have the sort of whited out eyes. That's like Scarah's signature thing. If you zoom in, it feels like there's like some shading or something in there. I can't tell quite what is going on because it like almost looks like the hint of an iris, but then like the corner of the white part of her eye is like black. It's very, very interesting. I love that effect. I think it's just a hint of detailing on the blank eyes that really like elevates her because I have never had a Scary Screams doll. Like I've never had one in my hands. So I can't say personally whether the old ones also were like this or if they were just blank, like just pure white eyes. But all the pictures that I've seen make them look like they just have pure white eyes. So I feel like this is a cool way to kind of elevate her face a little bit for a collector level doll while still retaining like that classic signature. Like this wouldn't be Scarah if you gave her like full irises, right? I love that. I love the green that they picked for her lip. I also just like the fact that this doll is green. I feel like green is not necessarily like the most common color for dolls, and she's like all green head to toe. It's very, very cool. We've got these silver earrings going on here, and you can see that there's also a silver headband going across, like to hold her veil. Speaking of the veil, let's just go ahead and look at that. We're going to jump ahead a tinge here. This veil is so unbelievably beautiful. It looks like it's got like branches and little like creatures running through it, maybe some spider webs going on there too. So gorgeous. The sheer green with this like more yellowy green lace on the edge is just oh, it's so so beautiful. And I also really like how it's super interesting from the back. First, oh my god, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm really excitable. I really think this is an exemplary doll. The volume of the veil is excellent. I love to see that. I just think it's a really fun silhouette for her. But also on the back, the way that the veil actually splits and has like these little ties, it's just so intricate and fun and different. I love it. I love that they didn't just like, do a plain piece of fabric. It's like got all this detailing to it. It is so it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's really hard for me to pick my favorite part of this doll because if we keep going, we can jump down to her shoes. It does look like she's wearing green tights. Her legs are a distinctly different color than like the rest of her skin. And when you look at the shoes specifically, you can see the tights. They do go all the way into the shoes, so it looks like full tights, not just like leggings, basically, which is super duper. These shoes are also incredible. I'm stunned by them. They're mostly like this really deep foresty green, but the entire sole and everything is constructed of this like clear plastic that looks like smoke. And when you zoom in, you can also see that amongst all of like the smoke tendrils, I think it's supposed to be like fog tendrils in there. There's a little face like on the back, like a screaming face because she's a banshee. Holy shit. Like these are so so cool, and I love how there's not like a lot of the sole that actually touches the ground because I feel like that makes it look a lot more like she's floating through the fog, like she's just coming out of the mist. I It's so ethereal and so fun. I just think that these are super super cool shoes, and then the final detail shot that we have to look at is also it's so good. It's her dress. So she does have these sheer, slightly flared sleeves. I would not call them a bell sleeve. That's like if you want me to complain about something, I would say that's my biggest complaint. I think we could have done with like a slightly more dramatic sleeve, but I just am also always a proponent for a dramatic sleeve. That's just a design element that I really, really love. So that might just be my bias. But the rest of her dress, I feel like the cut of the dress is again very like mod style. So I really like that. And then the embroidery? Embroidery? Shut up. It's so, so beautiful. The open mouths, so it's like screaming, the little skullets in there. It looks like eyes at the bottom. Like, this is just so gorgeous and so detailed. She also has a green ribbon around her neck, which all of it is just so so pretty. And then the last image that I have for you guys is her in the box. Y'all probably know if you've been here for any amount of time that I'm not really like a big box person. I take all of my dolls out of box and I very rarely save any of the packaging just because it's like, that's not my thing. I obviously don't care if you guys love keeping dolls in box, but it's just not for me. So I tend to have less opinions on the boxes. While this is definitely not a box that is going to make me want to like keep it, at least I don't think it is. I also don't think I said I did order this doll. I did buy it. We'll get into that a little bit more when we go through talking about the release. But while I don't think I'm going to end up keeping the box, at least looking at it in the photo, I do think it's solid. Like the inside of the box is this really like eerie green, but it's like so dark. Like there's so many tree silhouettes that it really gives you this feeling of like being enclosed in this forest and like trapped in this forest. And it's like dark and spooky and scary. And then suddenly there's a banshee there. That's terrifying. I love it. But then the swirls on the side are like they're giving vaguely a little bit of that mod vibe. I don't know, just something about the way that there's stripes. I feel like it ties that in really well. This is just so well done. Like I love her. I just need to look I just need to look at the full image a little bit more cuz she's just they popped off with this one. Like they are starting the year off with an absolute bang. But that does bring us to the facts of the release, which is going to be like slightly more critical. Again, it's not entirely negative, but like there are definitely some things that I think could have been done better. So let's get into it. So I want to say it was Monday that we got the like release images for this doll, like on the official Monster High Instagram and everything. If not Tuesday, it was definitely very, very early on in the week, but I think it was Monday. I guess that's not like the most important thing. Point is it was early in the week, several days before the drop was actually going to happen. And I do think it's important to mention that they did tell us when the drop was going to happen. I feel like Monster High has had in the past times where like we sort of have to put that together where an image will not even be leaked, but like we'll see an image and it's like, ooh, coming soon. I could be wrong. I might just be misremembering. But I did appreciate that they gave us the photos of the doll so we could see what she was going to look like. And they were like, hey, this is the Fang Club doll for this year. So you do need the Fang Club membership to buy the doll. But as long as you either have the membership or you buy the membership along with the doll, she's going to be coming out on January 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's like the standard time for releases on Mattel Creation is it's usually 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so that was nice that we had like a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of time to like look at Scarah, take her in and decide if we want to buy her. And then also the membership if you aren't already a member. I was already a member, so that wasn't like a consideration for me, but I liked that we had a little bit of time because we have had instances before with Monster High releases where it's like, hey, here's the doll. It's about to be here. Yeah, you got to decide real quick if you want this thing. And I don't like that style of release. I think they really only did that with the Chucky and Tiffany dolls. That was like the one that stands out of my head is we got pictures for those dolls literally 30 minutes before they went up, like they went live on the website, which is not a lot of time for people to decide if they want the dolls or to figure out buying the dolls. Now, Scarah did cost 50 US dollars, which is a lot cheaper than Chucky and Tiffany. But even so, like $50 is still not an insignificant amount of money. And so I appreciate the fact that they showed us the images early on in the week with, the release day. The price, I believe, took a couple of extra days to get announced, but you at least had some sort of time to stew on it. Like that's the positive of the release, you might say. But the reason that this video got delayed is because we were missing the inbox photos, and I did want to have that for you guys for discussing this doll. But I also was just like, I don't know. I wanted to be able to see her link on the website, on the Mattel Creations website. Like, I just wanted to have the full scope of information before I sat down and made the video. And so I was like, okay, cool. We've gotten like the promo images from Monster High. It'll be a day or two, and then we will have the link, and then I can make the video and I can post like instead of Friday, again, we can do like a little Thursday or something. That did not happen. That is not how things went. The link actually did not go up until the moment that the doll released, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is noon my time. But literally noon, I refreshed the page, and that was the first time that her link was live, which was quite alarming to me. Like, I was a little nervous. I posted on Instagram and was like, hey, is anybody else freaked out about this? Just because I don't think that Mattel necessarily has a history of trust with their releases to make something like this viable. So the reason that I bring that up is because when I like made that Instagram story post, a couple of you guys did respond and you were like, oh, it's probably because they don't want the link to be live so that it's a little bit harder for resellers or bots to be able to get the link and like be able to prepare and like be ready to get these things, which I do understand on some level. Like I do appreciate that it seems like perhaps the reasoning behind that was to try to prevent bots and resellers from scooping up this doll, because normally the Fan Club dolls like don't sell out. They even go on sale at later points in the year, so like they're not really hard to get, but this doll had so much hype that I think people were like, resellers might really go in for this one. It might be a bit of a struggle. I'm actually going to check real quick on camera if she's still in stock or not. No. Wow. As of time of filming, it is 1 hour after this doll release. That's crazy.
It actually is even worse than that because, like, I got mine and then I was like, okay, sick. She's secured. Let's get ready to make the video. Let's sit down and like film and everything. So, on camera was the first time that I had checked post release if she was still in stock. But after I was done filming, I pulled up Instagram and apparently it's not like she sold out in an hour. That in and of itself is already like impressive and kind of crazy for a fan club doll. I don't even know if the first one, Gulia, sold out that fast. But no, Scarah sold out in under 10 minutes. I'm seeing like 6 or 7. Don't do it. Don't do the thing. But like around that, under 10 minutes is how long it took for this doll to sell out. That is insane. I feel even luckier that I got her.
The other fan club dolls did not sell out like that. Like I distinctly remember seeing Operetta and Venus on sale at some point on Mattel Creations, but not Scarah. So I guess everyone was right in their predictions that she was going to be very, very popular. Probably right to be a little concerned about resellers and bots and everything. So I do think that like making the link available at the last minute as a way to prevent bots, like it's a good motivation, but I've got two issues with like my voice just gave out. I've got two issues with the way that it is executed. The first is that I understand that like if you out and out say, "Hey, this link isn't going to go up until this time," that sort of also notifies any bots or anything. But without saying that, you're sort of just leaving people in the dark as to like, is this even going to go up? Like, is there some issue on their end or like what's going on here? I feel like it does sort of lead the consumer to be like, are we getting this doll or not? Like, is there going to be some delay or something? Which ties into the second problem. I don't think that that would be as much of an issue if it weren't for the fact that I don't think Mattel has a history of being, I think trustworthy is like a rough word to use, but like they've had so many terrible botched releases. Like it's a known thing. Like if you're buying Monster High Dolls and Mattel Creations and you have like been through this rodeo several times, you are well aware that you are going to be stressed. Things are probably going to sell out. You might wait in line for ages and then still not be able to get the doll. The captcha might fuck up on you. Like it is not a good process buying a Mattel Creations. And so I think that this sort of measure where they're just like needing their consumers to trust that the link will come live when it needs to come live and like there is a good reason for them to be withholding the link. I just don't think that they have the history that makes people be able to believe that. Like genuinely we weren't getting the link and I was like it is a 50-50 chance if they are withholding the link to try to prevent some sort of reselling or if there's just something wrong and this doll's not coming out on Friday. Because Mattel doesn't have a history of all of these really solid, excellent releases to make people inherently believe that everything is going to be okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. Like I just don't know if they're in the place for this to be viable. And then another issue even on top of that, like it's not that I don't appreciate them trying to do something to prevent the problem that they very very obviously have of bots and resellers buying up the merchandise and like real fans not being able to get it. But I do sort of think they are a multi-million dollar company. There's got to be a way for them to do that that doesn't also induce anxiety in the consumer, right? Like, I don't think it's crazy that I was like nervous that this doll wasn't going to go up. And several of you guys did DM me and say that you were also feeling that same anxiety. There has to be a way for a multi-million dollar company with extensive resources to combat the bot and reseller issue without sort of like making the consumers jittery about it. Again, I don't think that it was the worst release ever. I'm glad that they seemingly I'm just assuming that was the motivation because I literally can't think of why else you would wait that long to drop the link. So like assuming that that is the motivation, I'm glad that they were thinking about it. I'm glad that they were trying to do something about it. I'm glad that they showed us the doll ahead of time and it wasn't like this last minute thing like Chucky and Tiffany again where like that people also theorized that it was to try to prevent bots from getting it, but like we didn't have images or anything of them, so it was like a lot worse for the consumer. So I'm glad that they've changed it to where we got the images and we had the information ready ahead of time and then the link just like came up late. I don't know, I just feel like there maybe should be a different way to do that or Mattel just needs to become a company where they are able to have these releases that are more successful and less of a nightmare so that we can just trust that things are going to be okay. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know. I just think it's like a little bit strange the way that they handled it. Now, the other issue with this release had to do with like the timing of the release, because historically speaking, I believe what has been the case has been that 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when the doll releases globally. So if it's 2 p.m. your time equates to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's when the doll's coming out. If 3 a.m. is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for you, that's when the doll's coming out, and that's when you have to be on the website. But it seems like that is not the case for this doll, or was not the case for this doll. This is like sort of tangential because I've only had a couple of people point this out to me. So I don't know if this was everybody. I don't know if this was, again, on purpose or if it was a bug or what was going on here. But it sounds like at least Australia and the UK had these dolls release on 9 a.m. like their time, which is different. And I do want to say, like, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I do think that it's a little bit ridiculous for Mattel Creations to be expecting people to wake up in the dead of night just because they happen to live in a different country to get their doll. Like, I do think that having it be like, okay, this is going to be 9 a.m. UK time. This is going to be 9 a.m. this country's time. Like, that I think is fine. I think that that's dandy. Even if like larger countries like the US, like I said, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is noon for me. Okay. Like we're not even equitable, but even that, like it's at least closer. So I feel like if you have it be like, hey, it's going to be 9 a.m. at this time zone and it's like different for different countries, I think that's a better way to release. I think that not having people have to wake up in the middle of the night and disrupt their sleep to try to get a doll is a better thing to do. But they didn't like explain that that was going to be the case. It said 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, to my understanding, everywhere. And specifically, I had someone reach out and say, yeah, like this was supposed to come out at 5 p.m. my time, but it came out at 9 a.m. And like I just happened to be lucky and I was on the website. So that's kind of messed up because again, I really want to highlight that is an excellent change to make, to have a like standard time where it's like, hey, these are the time zones. 9 a.m. in this time zone is when you're going to be able to get your doll, and it's not this situation where people are having to like disrupt their sleep or work or something like that to try to get it. I think that's great. But you have to fucking say that to people so that they know what time they should be on the website. I don't know if this was a miscommunication where they just like forgot that they should post about that, or if it was some sort of bug on like the back end where they were released at 9 a.m. in different time zones instead of being released across the board at the exact same time. I just think that that's an insane thing to do without letting people know. So I almost hope that it was a bug in that sense, just because like I think of all the people who must have missed out on the doll because they thought that they needed to be there at one time, and then it was like, oh, just kidding, that actually released at 9 a.m. your time. I don't know. Like it just seems like a lot of people might have missed out on the doll because there wasn't communication about that. In the future, I would love to see them go forward and have it be less intrusive and have it be sort of a staggered release by time zone. I think that that is an excellent way to do it because again, it's way more convenient for people, but you have to communicate that, and they did not seem to do that this time, which is just it's just a little bit messed up. So that kind of sucks because it's such an amazing doll and I'm so happy that I was able to get her. I'm so excited about this one. I think she's gorgeous aesthetically, and clearly a lot of people agree. If she literally sold out already, like that's crazy. But I do just think there were a couple of ways where, in true Mattel Creations fashion, they did drop the ball when it comes to the logistics of the release. I do want to highlight because I like genuinely am not trying to be an ass about this. I think that they are in some ways moving in the right direction with maybe staggering the time zones, with maybe, not putting the link up until the last minute so that there can be something with like bots having a harder time getting it. They just have to find a way to communicate a little bit better with their audience and with their consumers, or else it's sort of for naught, because if you go through all this effort to stagger the release times and then you don't tell anyone, what was the point? Like, why did you even bother doing that? So, those are sort of my thoughts on it. Excellent doll, mediocre to kind of bad release, but also with some undertones that make me feel like it could be good in the future. I don't really know, but I would love to hear all of your thoughts in the comments down below, both on the doll and also on the release. Did you get her? I'm so excited for mine. I hope y'all were able to get her if you wanted her. I cannot wait for her to arrive so I can like unbox her and share her with you all. But that's finally going to be it for me for today, y'all. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.